Hey, Christ community, I hope you're doing well. By now, you know a lot has happened surrounding the potential of overturning Roe versus Wade. And we have a leader in that field here as a part of our congregation. My wife, Kristen, is the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of Living Alternatives Pregnancy Resource Center, which is a faith-based pregnancy support organization. And I've invited her today to speak with you a little bit about what her organization is seeing happen on the front lines surrounding this issue. So, my dear, the first question I have for you is, since the documents have come out, has there been any sort of changes in procedure or anything that has happened for your pregnancy centers as a result of kind of these recent developments?
Yeah. So just as a precaution, first off, we've told all of our staff, volunteers, just reminded them who we do our work for, and the fact that there's no reason to be afraid, and we already know that the battle has been won. But on the back end, we are just taking extra precautions with making sure that we've got cameras just surveying the parking lots, just for extra precaution. We've rewritten our safety procedures, just included a few extra pieces of safety measures, and just asked all of our staff and volunteers to just step up some of those extra precautions in case we do experience any vandalism or protests or anything like that. We want to make sure we still keep our staff and volunteers safe. But again, it's not out of fear, it's just out of precaution.
Yeah, that's good. What has been your organization's kind of public response or even internal response to the Roe v. Wade situation?
Honestly, it's just going to be, we're going to keep doing exactly what we've always been doing. Our goal and our mission is to reach the person facing that unplanned pregnancy. No matter who they are, no matter what they're facing, no matter what they're feeling, no matter who or who is not in their corner, we are here for them. So we invite them into our doors with open arms. We want to process, we want to fully educate them on all of their options, help them to make an informed decision, but really make sure that they know their options, especially the risks that they might face. But then one of the other key things, especially in the state of Illinois, our pregnancy centers are in northern part of Indiana, but also in Illinois. And in Illinois, there's some very liberal laws concerning abortion. So we work really hard to educate women so they know their rights, even if they do go to an abortion clinic. And they don't typically fully know their rights because they're not fully explained to them. So that's something we work really hard at, and we've just reminded everybody who we are and what we do and who we do it for.
So it's important to clarify that overturning Roe versus Wade will not make abortion illegal. It will return it to the state level for enforcement and regulation, which has, as you mentioned, seen different states go very different directions, Illinois versus Indiana, in the way they respond to it. So for your work and your organization, what do you kind of see that long-term impact that could potentially be on what you do?
Unfortunately, I foresee that it actually might make our job harder, especially in the state of Illinois, because we are strategically located more in central pockets and in various communities on purpose where the need is. But we're privately funded, and we depend on donors just like yourself and the generosity of the communities to keep us going. And we don't receive any federal funding. But abortion clinics, especially if it gets pushed to the state level, the state of Illinois will just move all of their clinics to the outside perimeter of the state, and they'll start targeting all the states surrounding them. So women won't stay in the community, they'll go outside, and it's going to be really difficult for us to match that and to move locations. So it actually, honestly, will probably make our job a little bit more challenging and a little bit harder, especially for our centers in the state of Illinois. So that's kind of the hard part, because even if something's illegal, it doesn't mean it just stops happening. It just means that people get more creative with finding that resource. And what we really need to be doing is tackling the heart of the issue and really the root cause, the belief and the lies that exist.
So, I mean, it seems like it could very easily turn, kind of state against state in some ways, because one will become, like Illinois, an abortion sanctuary, as you've called it,
Yeah.
while Indiana would be a much different response
Yeah.
in their legislation for abortion.
Most likely.
So then the question is, for us as the church, what can we do? What should we do or be as a part of this situation and conversation?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I have two responses for you. Your response as an individual in supporting pregnancy centers, get behind them. If you can financially, that's amazing. But first and foremost, in prayer, really intentionally in prayer. Even within our organization, we're facing a lot of, especially our nurses that are on the front lines, those in client services, there's a lot of mental health attacks, physical attacks. All of our centers are really just facing some major challenges within the staff. And it gets defeating, it gets really tiring, for sure. So that's first and foremost. But as just an individual in the community, as you are facing this, as you are talking about it, as you are hearing about it on the news, I want to encourage you not to let your beliefs or your passions about the topic take priority over the gospel, because we should be pro-grace before we're pro-life. We should be about having really graceful and merciful conversations with people around us, because anybody facing an unplanned pregnancy, it's scary. It's a hard thing, and anybody considering making any sort of major life decision, it's not taken lightly, and it's not because they're a horrible person. They just, they need someone to walk alongside them and have a graceful conversation, and you never know who you might be talking to that might be hiding something or going through something that you just can't see on their face. Or maybe they have a friend or a neighbor or a sibling. So as we are talking in the public, it should not be about necessarily our rights or what's right or wrong. It should be about walking alongside people and always having a really grace-filled conversation.
Yeah, that's great. It's a challenging situation to navigate for sure, because it's a very politicized, right? And we have the political response that is easily rallied around and easily stirred. But as Christians within the church, our response can and should be very different. Yes, we can fight the political battle for sure.
Absolutely.
But when we're on the front lines like you are, doing the work that you do, we need to have that relationship with folks that we can walk through this incredibly difficult time and season in their life, just showing them the grace of God in any way possible. So, church, we can continue to support financially the places like Living Alternatives Pregnancy Resource Center, and even in our own area, Choices Life Resource Center. We can continue to support them and the work that they do, the ministry that they have on the front lines of this issue. But even more so, let's continue to pray for the leaders of those organizations. Kristen and her CEO of Living Alternatives is Sherry Sherwood. And then within our own community, let's make it a point to pray for Rose Condra and her staff at Choices Life Resource Center as well. There's a lot going on around this issue. Parts of it are cut and dry, absolutely. We support life, and some of it is a little more difficult to navigate. So, church, be praying about how to be a graceful advocate for those going through incredibly difficult times in life. Have a great week.